Good day everyone, we are Group 7 and we will be looking at the investigation of electromagnetic dosimetric issues relating to exposure for IEEE 802.15.6 body area networks. This topic falls under the theme of EM exposure and RF safety. For our investigation, we pose the following question. For specific frequencies 10 MHz and 21 MHz, does the electric field intensity in the body exceed the reference levels given according to standards for occupational and general exposure to time-varying electric and magnetic fields? Frequencies 10 and 21 MHz were used, seeing that they were above and below the ISM Industry Science Medical Band of 13.56 MHz. This project investigated the dosimetry due to exposure to human body communication HBC systems, a subcategory of body area networks, BAN, which is defined by the IEEE standard as a communication standard for low-power devices and operation on, in, or around the body. The wearable sensor and transmitter model of the HBC system was employed, each sensor having an electrode pair of one terminal and one ground electrode. The E-field levels in the body due to the HBC electrodes were compared with relevant standards to answer the question posed. The analysis of the electric potential and electric field intensity in the body is facilitated by the following. Firstly, Maxwell's fourth equation, Ampere's law, states that the curl of the magnetic field H is equal to the electric current density J. Secondly, magnetic flux density B is related to magnetic field intensity H by permeability mu. Thirdly, Ohm's law states that the electrical conductivity sigma is the ratio of the current density J to the electric field E causing the current to flow in a material. Electric field E is a gradient of the electric potential. The electric flux density D is a measure of the electric field strength generated by a free electric charge. The main steps in our method are outlined as follows. Step 1. The construction of the digital human phantom, which is a 3D model of the human body composed of geometric shapes. Material properties are assigned to the domains in the geometry, and the material properties are frequency dependent. Step 2. Electrodes placed around the body. The electrodes are constructed in 2 dimensions, and their material properties are set. Each pair of electrodes is configured as mentioned earlier. The current terminal was set to a value of 1 milliamp, since it is the minimum current felt by a body. Current terminals are used as opposed to voltage terminals since the body is such a poor conductor. Applying a potential difference across the electrodes would result in negligible current, and ultimately negligible E and B fields. Step 3. Computing the results. The model is meshed, and the results are computed for specific frequencies. The resulting maximum electric potential and electric field intensity levels are represented in this bar graph. As we can see for each biological tissue, the electric field intensity level is much greater than the electric potential level. Also, at a higher frequency, 21 MHz, the electric field intensity is much greater than for the lower frequency. And these maximum E-field values are used in the comparison with the standards. The simulation screenshots are included for visualization purposes. Here we have the distributions of the E potential and the E field in the biological tissue. This is the head and the brain, heart, arm, and liver. It should be noted that the maximum E potential and E field values are located at the electrodes themselves, and as we move away into the biological tissue, these levels decrease. For the purpose of our study, biological tissues were assumed to be homogeneous and isotropic. Homogeneous materials have uniform properties throughout, and isotropic materials, the field directions are uniform throughout. According to Ohm's law, the current density J, provided by the current terminals, and the electrical conductivity sigma of the electrodes and the tissues resulted in a generated E field. The E field level became frequency dependent, seeing that it is related to frequency dependent material properties. And these maximum E field levels are compared with the reference levels to see the effect of the HBC system on the body. In conclusion, the levels of E-field exposure due to the human body communication system were found to be below the given reference values for occupational and general exposure to time-varying electric and magnetic fields given in the IEEE standards. I hope you enjoyed our presentation, and thank you for your undivided attention.